Have you ever walked away from a conversation and felt something went wrong? You didn't argue, you didn't say anything offensive, but somehow the other person pulled back. Their tone changed, their eyes lost warmth, and the moment that once felt alive suddenly turned cold. Most of us blame our words. But in truth, what breaks connection isn't what we say, it's how we listen, how we react, and how aware we are of the energy we bring into that moment. There are invisible habits, so small we barely notice them, yet powerful enough to quietly erode trust, drop by drop, until people no longer feel safe opening up to us. In this video, we'll uncover 6 common conversation habits that silently destroy connection, and how the ancient Stoics mastered the art of communication. Calm, present, and profoundly respectful. Because communication isn't about speaking perfectly, it's about being present perfectly. It's about learning to listen, not with your ears, but with your attention. And once you see these habits clearly, you'll begin to understand why some people draw others in effortlessly, while others, despite good intentions, slowly push them away. Let's begin and rediscover what it truly means to connect, the Stoic way. When you interrupt, you silently say, "My story matters more." When someone begins to speak, they're opening a small door, a glimpse into their world, their emotions, their truth. But then, without realizing, we step in too fast. "Oh, I've been there too. Let me tell you what happened to me." We think we're connecting, but in that moment, we've quietly taken the stage and their story stops midair. It's called conversational narcissism, the habit of pulling every dialogue back to ourselves. And it kills connection faster than silence ever could, because what the other person feels isn't understanding, it's interruption. Their voice fades, their eyes retreat, and slowly they learn. Talking to you doesn't feel safe. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "No one is admired for listening to himself speak, but all respect the one who listens to others." A Stoic understands this deeply. They practice active silence, listening without planning what to say next. When the urge to interrupt rises, they take a slow breath and let it pass. Because every time you choose silence, you're not losing control. You're gaining strength. You're telling the other person, your story matters here. And in that stillness, connection quietly grows. 2. Good intentions can still push people away. Have you ever tried to comfort someone who is struggling and somehow made them feel worse? They say, "I'm exhausted. I can't handle work anymore." And before they even finish, you jump in. "You should meditate. You need to quit. You just have to stay positive." Your heart means well, you want to help. But what they hear isn't love, it's pressure. Because in that moment, they didn't need a teacher. They needed a witness. Someone who could sit beside their pain without trying to fix it. Seneca once wrote, "Not everyone needs advice. Many only need a heart that listens." A Stoic knows that silence can heal more than solutions ever will. Before speaking, they pause and ask, do they want my thoughts or just my presence? When you stop rushing to repair people, something shifts. The other person feels safe again. Not judged, not corrected, just seen. And often, that safety is what gives them the strength to solve their own problems. Because real wisdom isn't in having the right answers. It's in knowing when your voice should rest, so someone else's heart can breathe. 3. The urge to correct is often the ego in disguise. We've all done it. Someone says they're on a diet, and we notice them grabbing a slice of pizza. Without thinking, we say, "Wait, I thought you were eating healthy?" It sounds harmless, even honest, but what they hear is judgment, a quiet reminder that they've failed. Here's the truth. People aren't consistent machines. They change, stumble, contradict themselves. That's not hypocrisy, that's humanity. Epictetus once said, "Do not rush to correct others. They are learning how to live just as you are." When you point out their contradictions, you might feel right for a moment, but you lose something greater: connection. Because what they needed wasn't your sharp eye, it was your gentle understanding. A Stoic knows that kindness is stronger than cleverness. Instead of saying, "Didn't you say you'd stop doing that?" they might say, "I see you're still trying, and that's what really matters." You see, calling someone out might feed your ego, but letting it go strengthens your soul. True wisdom isn't proving others wrong, it's allowing them to grow at their own pace without shame. Because when you stop correcting people, you start connecting with them. 4. When you dim someone else's light, yours doesn't shine brighter. Have you ever noticed how quick we are to downplay someone's success? They tell us, "I finally finished that project." And we respond, "That's nothing, anyone could do that." We think we're being humble or even modest, but what they hear is, "What you did doesn't matter." And in that moment, the light in their eyes fades. They stop sharing what excites them. Because why bother if every small victory will be brushed aside? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "See each person as a warrior fighting their own private battle." What seems small to you may be monumental to them. A quiet victory that costs them sleepless nights, self-doubt, and courage you'll never see. A Stoic never belittles another's effort, because they understand how fragile human motivation can be. One careless sentence can extinguish the spark that took months to build. So the next time someone shares their success, pause before you speak. Say, "You did really well. I can see the effort behind that." That one sentence can lift a soul. Seneca said, "When you lift another up, you raise yourself as well." Kindness doesn't make you smaller. It makes you timeless. Worth 5. Sometimes being right makes you wrong. You've probably been there. Someone says, "It happened on Tuesday," and before they finish, you jump in, "No, it was Wednesday." You're not trying to be rude. You just want to be accurate. But what they feel isn't your precision, it's your pressure. Because when every word must be corrected, a conversation stops being a space for connection and turns into a courtroom where someone has to win. And the truth is, most people don't remember who was right. They remember who made them feel safe to speak. Seneca once wrote, "A steady mind does not need to prove itself right in every detail." A Stoic understands that being right means nothing if you lose your peace along the way. They know when to correct and when to let it go. If the mistake changes the meaning, you can gently say, "I think it might have been Wednesday. Want me to check with you?" But if it doesn't matter, let it slide. Keep the flow alive. Keep the heart open. Because sometimes silence says more than correction ever could. It tells the other person, "You matter more than my need to be right." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "If others are wrong, correct them gently. If they refuse, bear it gently." That's not weakness, that's mastery. 6. When you're there, but not really there. You've been in that moment, sitting across from someone, nodding, smiling, pretending to listen, but your mind is already miles away. You're thinking about what to say next, what you'll eat for dinner, or the message waiting on your phone. They keep talking, but you're not with them. And somehow, they can feel it. Because presence can't be faked. It's energy. The moment your attention drifts, connection breaks. Not with anger, not with noise, but with quiet distance that says, "You're not important enough to stay here with." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When someone speaks to you, be fully present, as if nothing else exists." That's the art of being truly here. Not halfway, not distracted, fully alive in this moment. Put the phone down. Stop rehearsing your response. Look at them. Really look. Listen not to reply, but to understand. A Stoic knows that presence is a gift, one rarer than time, because it's undivided. When you listen deeply, you're telling the other person, "You matter." And in a noisy world full of half attention, that kind of silence feels like love. In the end, real connection isn't built on words, it's built on awareness. Don't interrupt. Don't rush to give advice. Don't judge. Don't downplay. Don't always need to be right. And above all, don't drift away while someone is sharing their truth. These small habits may seem harmless, but they slowly drain the warmth out of our relationships, drop by drop, until silence becomes safer than speaking. The Stoics taught a simple truth. Every conversation is an opportunity to practice respect, curiosity, and recognition. When you respect someone, you let them finish their story. When you're curious, you listen not to win, but to understand. And when you recognize their effort, you remind them that their existence matters. Seneca once said, "If your words do not make life better, let silence do it." Marcus Aurelius added, "Let your words reflect the stillness of your soul." Because people won't remember every clever thing you said. They'll remember how they felt in your presence. If they felt calm, seen, and safe, that's the mark of a wise soul. So take a breath. In your next conversation, speak less and listen deeper. That's where your Stoic practice truly begins. If this message spoke to you, take one quiet breath. And remember, change doesn't begin with others. It begins with the space you create inside yourself. In your next conversation, pause before you speak. Notice what you're about to say and ask, will this bring peace or will it bring noise? If this video reminded you of something true, someone you've lost touch with, or someone you want to understand again, share it with them. Because healing often begins with one honest moment and one person who listens. And if you'd like to keep growing on this journey, learning to think clearly, speak wisely, and live calmly, then subscribe and join us here each week as we train the mind and calm the soul the Stoic way.